What is reading comprehension? Reading comprehension is a combination of thought processes rather than one teachable skill. It can be assessed by evaluating how well students can recall facts, infer, conclude, predict, and find the main idea in increasingly complex texts. It relies on and can be impaired by deficits in the following areas: phonological awareness, word-level reading, lexical semantic vocabulary, syntactical grammatical knowledge, working memory, background knowledge. We've already explored the first three processes. Phonological awareness is essential for rapid, stable learning of the alphabetic code. Effective instruction in this code increases automaticity in word-level reading. Practice and explicit instruction in fluent reading bolsters and adds to the lexical semantic vocabulary. Syntactical grammatical knowledge and working memory will be explored in depth in the next chapter on underlying processes for reading. This leaves background knowledge, a key factor in reading comprehension. Unfortunately, it is also a variable that teachers have very little control over in the first few years of schooling. Children arrive at school with spectacularly varied levels of competence, whether it be due to family circumstances or neurological capability or both. Much debate rages about the correct starting point for literacy teaching in the face of such diversity. Understandably, many are convinced that comprehension and literary appreciation can and should be taught right from the start, and these people are not wrong. However, the approach that levels the playing field for all children is the one that produces the greatest amount of independence in the largest number of children after the second year of teaching. When I mention independence, I do not simply mean taking a book and reading it to oneself. I mean taking a text and reading it without relying on prediction or pictures. I mean writing about what you experience legibly and with plausible, if not perfect, spelling. The approach that gives the majority of children this independence is one which systematically emphasizes the coded structure of words and the correspondences that the letters on the page have to the sounds of the spoken language. Quality, high-content, explicit teaching in these years is essential, which is one of the main reasons that low-content, discovery or investigation-based teaching has such a low success rate in raising achievement in schools. Let's do a quick quiz. In a 2014 study of 425,000 first through third graders, decoding, vocabulary and comprehension were all tested. Some children scored low on all three measures. Some scored low on decoding and vocabulary, but not comprehension. But there was a percentage of children who scored high on decoding and vocabulary, but low on comprehension. This is the population that some pundits could say are barking at print. In a code-based systematic scheme of instruction, children are taught to decode and comprehend what they read through the process of orthographic mapping. In the psycholinguistic guessing game, so popular in current education, children are taught not to decode in case they somehow lose meaning. Can you guess what percentage fell into the band that might need to focus on meaning rather than decoding? 10%? 20%? How many? Bear in mind that whole language begins at this level. Which population does that suit best? The answer? Fewer than 1% of all children surveyed. Around 1 in every 100 children requires explicit comprehension teaching and prompting. So the next time you hear someone using comprehension as a path to word-level reading, ask them if they are dealing with the 1%. If not, why are they behaving like they are? Making reading comprehension the primary driver for literacy instruction is considerably less likely to be successful than starting with decoding. A few things to remember about comprehension. Don't confuse the journey with the destination. Like word-level automaticity, understanding what you read is the destination, not the journey. The journey consists of increasingly strategic use of oral language, phonological awareness, phonics, fluency, and vocabulary. Secondly, guessing is a dead-end street. Looking at pictures, predicting words in a story, guessing words, skipping words, and trying to use context to get words off the page are actions which do not feature in any of the above keys to reading. They are also poor comprehension strategies, which require much more mental effort than simply decoding words and connecting them to oral language. Thirdly, making meaning is not a thing. This phrase is, ironically, meaningless. In linguistics, we talk about semantics and pragmatics. In the science of reading, we talk about decoding and connecting to oral language. In the imprecise and evidence-free world of whole language or balanced literacy, making meaning is nothing but a catchphrase, and ultimately an inaccurate approximation of the process of reading comprehension. Inaccurate catchphrases are not good enough if we are to eradicate illiteracy. The last thing to remember is that decoding is not in direct competition with reading comprehension. Decoding leads to and is ultimately inseparable from comprehension. Try reading the word dog and resisting its meaning. The concept of dog is immediate and inseparable from the letters D-O-G. When students lack the skills to decode, clumsily trying to circumvent their deficits by plastering comprehension strategies over the holes is a dreadful thing to do.